Hi. Have you ever had to sit through a long sermon at church? Well, there's scripture warning about the dangers of of a long sermon. In fact, Paul the apostle preached a long sermon that nearly killed somebody, and it's in the book of Acts, chapter 20, and I'm going to be reading it from verse 7. Now, on the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul, ready to depart the next day, spoke to them and continued his message until midnight. There were many lamps in the upper room where they were gathered together, and in a window sat a certain young man named Eutychus, who was sinking into a deep sleep. He was overcome by sleep, and as Paul continued speaking, he fell down from the third story and was taken up dead. But Paul went down, fell on him, and embracing him said, "Do not trouble yourselves, for his life is in him." When he had come up, he had broken bread and eaten, and talked a long while, even until daybreak. He departed, and he brought the young man in alive, and they were not a little comforted. Yes, that is part of Scripture. Paul preached a long sermon, and person fell asleep during the sermon, and he ended up falling to what was almost his death. And of course, Paul comes to the rescue. He says, "Don't worry, his life is still in him." And then he continues preaching and breaking of bread, and brings the young man alive, and all is all is well again. I mean, am I saying that all long sermons are going to be like that? Well, you you never know. Depends on where you're preaching your long sermon. You got to be careful that you don't preach your sermon in a place where somebody is going to fall down and die. That is, if you're a pastor. I mean, pastors have a tendency of going on for long and just I mean, sometimes you just wish you could get to the point and just wrap things up. And because people have things to do, people to see, and I mean, food to prepare for themselves. And yeah, it's a funny story that I thought I'd share with you people. Even though you're probably getting sick of me bringing up scripture all the time, but uh, hey, the word needs to be preached, regardless. Paul says to Timothy, preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, I may not be a preacher, but I'm sharing with you scripture, and I think some of you out there really need to hear it. I mean, anyway, that's pretty much all I have to share with you this morning. So have a good day, and God bless you.